Module 8. Strengthening developmentally appropriate programs through family engagement. These are ways that professionals can help parents raise their children and support their learning. 6 types of family engagement. Professionals can teach parents knowledge and skills to help their child learn. They might give them tips on how to help with homework or how to create a good learning environment at home. Professionals need to communicate effectively with family members. This means they need to talk to them in a way that makes sense and be willing to listen to what they have to say. Professionals can ask family members to participate in classroom activities and give them tasks to do that will help their child's learning. Professionals can develop strategies that will help children learn at home. This might mean creating fun activities or suggesting ways for parents to incorporate learning into everyday life. Professionals can recruit and prepare family members to be involved in decision-making about program policies. This means they can ask parents for their opinions and ideas on how to improve the program. Finally, professionals can work with community agencies to support children's learning and build a strong community of parents and professionals who care about education. Barriers to family engagement. Sometimes, people like teachers or family members might have some misunderstandings or wrong ideas about each other. This can create some uncomfortable feelings when they interact. Family members might feel like nobody is listening to them, or that they're being talked down to. They might feel like the only time they're asked to help is when someone needs them to donate money. And sometimes, they might feel unwelcomed because of their own personal school experience. On the other hand, professionals like teachers or school staff might have their own negative ideas about families. And sometimes, new teachers or staff members might feel a little scared or threatened when they're first starting out. These are just some of the barriers to family engagement that teachers need to be aware of and try to address so that everyone can work together to support the education and growth of our children. Characteristics of effective family engagement. First, collaboration is key. Families and teachers need to work together and recognize each other's importance in the child's life. No one can do it all alone. Next, effective family engagement looks different for different families. Some may be more involved than others, and that's okay. There are many ways for families to participate, and it's important to find the right fit for each family. Regular communication is also important. The more often families and teachers talk, the more positive the outcomes tend to be. Trust is built over time through focused and frequent contact. Finally, it's important to tailor educational programs to meet the needs of each family. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. The best outcomes happen when professionals listen to families and work with them to find the strategies that work best. Effective family engagement strategies. First off, teachers need to build good relationships with families. That means getting to know them and making them feel welcome. Another key strategy is gathering information from families. It's important to understand their needs and interests so teachers can tailor their programs to better serve them. Keeping families informed is also crucial. Teachers should make sure they're up to date on what's happening in the program and any important information they need to know. Establishing two-way communication is another great tactic. This means not only sharing information with families, but also listening to what they have to say and incorporating their feedback into their program. Teachers should also make sure they're including families in their program. That means inviting them to participate in events and activities and making sure they feel like they're part of the community. It's also important to involve men in programs. Dads and other male family members play an important role in their children's lives, so teachers should make sure they feel welcome and included. Finally, providing family education is a great way to help families learn new skills and strategies for supporting their children. Establishing relationships with adult family members. When it comes to building relationships with adult family members, there are a few things teachers should keep in mind. First, teachers should show that they care for the child by paying attention to details. This means listening carefully and maintaining eye contact when talking to family members. They should also greet them by name and be courteous. It's important for teachers to avoid using jargon and to address letters to dear family members. And if a translator is needed for face-to-face or written materials, they should make sure to arrange that. Teachers should also remember to maintain family confidentiality and focus on their strengths. They should also try to avoid using judgmental labels and listen when children share family information. And make sure that classroom materials reflect their culture and structure. Teachers should not forget to consider the family's point of view and provide positive feedback to them. They should also share control with them and take cues from them about how they want to communicate. Finally, teachers should learn from family members and offer many ways of engagement. And be sure to tailor their strategies to meet the specific needs of current families. Parent conferences planning. It's important to make sure that the conference is convenient for the family, so the first step is to create a written invitation and confirm the appointment time. Teachers should make sure to allow enough time for the conference and secure a comfortable and private space for the meeting. For families who are attending a parent-teacher conference for the first time, it might be helpful to provide them with some sample questions they can ask. And lastly, before the conference, it's a good idea to review the child's progress and the family's goals for their child. That way, teachers can be prepared to answer any questions they may have. Parent conferences implementing. When the family arrives, teachers should make sure to greet them warmly and thank them for coming. Then start things off on a positive note and briefly outline what they plan to cover. They should then ask if there's anything the parents want to add or if they have any questions. Teachers should remember to listen carefully to what the parents say and provide specific evidence to support their points. They should keep the conversation going back and forth and answer any questions the parent might have. They can also give parents information on child development or suggest resources they can use. The teacher should end things on a positive note and collaborate with the family on future goals and strategies. And also make sure to clarify and summarize the discussion and plan to continue talking in the future. Lastly, teachers should not forget to write down any plans or strategies they've discussed with the parents and follow up with the family later on. Parent-teacher partnership/collaboration. This refers to the act of two or more individuals who are of equal standing sharing their thoughts, concerns, and possible solutions with sincerity and mutual respect to benefit the child's well-being. Problems with parent involvement. Sometimes, families might think that they don't have the right skills to help out. Other times, they might feel like the tasks they're given are too small or unimportant. And sometimes, the school might not be very well organized or might not communicate well with parents, which can be frustrating. Another reason parents might not be involved is because they've had bad experiences with school themselves, or they might have trouble finding time to come in because of their work schedule. And for some dads, they might feel a little unsure about how they fit into the early childhood education programs. Sometimes they might have work schedule conflicts too. Or maybe they interact with teachers in a way that makes them feel uncomfortable. Unfortunately, some people still think that being involved in their child's education is just for moms. But that's not true. Everyone can be a part of helping kids learn and grow. Classroom newsletter content. A classroom newsletter is like a letter that your teacher sends home to your parents to tell them about what's been happening in class and what's coming up. The newsletter usually talks about what we've been learning in class since the last one was sent out. It's a good way for families to talk about what you're learning at school and to remind them of things that are happening in the school. There's also usually some stuff about what's coming up in the next few days or weeks. This is important because it helps families plan ahead and know what to expect. Another thing you might see in the newsletter is some ideas for things to do at home that are related to what we're learning in school. Sometimes parents might not automatically think of things they can do at home to help with your learning, so this is a good reminder. The newsletter might also talk about some important news happening in the classroom, your family, or your community. This can help you and your family feel connected to what's happening around you and can give you information about resources you might not have known about. Finally, the newsletter might have some invitations to participate in things like donating materials or coming to school events. These invitations are important because they might encourage families to get involved and be a part of what's happening at school.